I personally stand by these tracks should have been included on the Division Bell box set.
Yeah.
But of course, Pink Floyd want you to buy both, and they want you to buy the set.
Well, yeah, they're a commercial band.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah.
Yeah, anyone who's seen Nick Mason's vast car collection.
Yeah.
Do you think it justifies bringing back the Pink? Is it Floydian enough to justify Pink Floyd, or should this have been Nick Mason and David Gilmour album? Because you say the Division Bell, great final album. Do you think they should have left it like that, or do you think it was worth them reigniting Pink Floyd? Or do you think it was just a commercial venture, or do you think it's Floyd enough to deserve that?
I think it's a mixture of everything.
Yeah.
You've said. It's definitely made for commercial reasons. Obviously, it's the most pre-ordered album of all time on Amazon.
Yeah.
Released before Christmas. Dads are going to buy it. Dads and me are going to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe granddads as well at this stage.
Yeah, I mean...
Pink Floyd are pretty old now.
Definitely granddads, because if Dark Side came out in 73, if you were 18, you'd be 58 now.
Yeah, so probably so
granddads are probably the primary audience.
Granddads, dads and me rushed out and bought this album.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a commercial success. I never ever go in for big nice box sets and deluxe editions, but simply because it's Pink Floyd and Pink Floyd are one of my all-time favourite bands.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted the special edition, even if it contains nothing. I'm probably going to sell it on eBay at some point.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I think there are enough Floydian elements to keep fans of a band like me interested in the record and wanted to hear it. So, like I said, it is nice hearing this kind of creative band together again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, obviously because of the nature of the record, it doesn't come together in the way you want it to. So I think it's a mixture of everything you've said.
A mixture of being worthy of the Floyd name and not really being deserving bringing it back. Yeah.
It's worthy. It's definitely Pink Floyd. It's definitely worthy. I am glad they've released it. It would have been, I think, because some of the tracks on it, I don't remember the individual track names because I've only listened to it once. But what I remember from because I listened to it, I think yesterday. What I remember from it, it all coheres and it goes into each other real nicely and it's got a natural rhythm to it. So I wouldn't have wanted to see these tracks not be released.
Yeah.
It's always nice hearing something from a classic band which you've never heard before. I think anyway. I feel that way about the Bob Dylan bootleg series.
Ah, yeah.
I really love hearing all the stripped back versions of some more heavily instrumentation versions, and sometimes some of Dylan's best songs are on these bootleg albums.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the case for this.
No Blind Willie McTells.
Yeah, no. There's definitely no Blind Willie McTell on this album. But like I said, as a tribute to Rick Wright, it's great. As an album, it doesn't come together, but it's nice hearing these tracks being released.
Yeah.
Maybe misadvertised. I think maybe people going in expecting another Dark Side or another Wish You Were Here might be disappointed.
I think that's ultimately foolish. I mean, they were very young when they made that, working at their creative height. Yeah. It's not even really. It's not really the same band because it's not got creative figurehead
Roger Waters.
Roger Waters, really.
No, that's true. But as a lot of people have been complaining, oh, what's the point? Roger Waters isn't on it, and I think Roger Waters quite rightly said, well, I've not been part of Pink Floyd for about 30 years. Stop whining.
Yeah.
I think going in, you've got to know. I pretty much knew what to expect. I had a pretty decent idea what the album was going to be like. So that's part of it surprised me, and part of it didn't.
Yeah.
I would have, because if you want to have Roger Waters come back, it's kind of rewriting history. Yeah. Because you got to remember where these tracks came from. It came from the time when Roger Waters wasn't part of the band.
Yeah.
And I think Roger Waters has kind of moved on.
Well, yeah, he's probably you can't really fault him for cashing in because he doesn't really cash in on the Pink Floyd name much.
Not really.
He tours the albums, but they're mainly his work. He could earn millions and billions probably
from doing it.
From doing a new Pink Floyd album, but he chooses not to. So.
Yeah. Well, did you hear recently that Robert Plant turned down an $800 million offer to tour with Led Zeppelin and he refused it?
Is that actually true? I thought it was some kind of hoax.
No, it's true about yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Then.
Richard Branson apparently approached him.
Really?
And it was something like each member would have earned like $300 million, so cumulatively it would have been about $800-900 million, and he turned it down.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
So, if it wasn't Pink Floyd, if it was the first release from Gilmour and Mason, do you think it would be good at all? Because you're heavily discussing it in terms of its history and...
Yeah, that's what I think. The context is what's really important. I don't think it holds up as, like I said, I don't think it holds up as an album.
No.
I think if it was released as a Nick Mason, David Gilmour album, people compliment it on being a nice sounding record, but ultimately a bit pointless.
Yeah.
It doesn't really go anywhere.
No.
I think Endless River requires you to understand where the tracks came from,
Yep.
what it's about, to get any kind of enjoyment out of it, which isn't really good.
Think you'll still be listening to it in a couple of years?
Probably not. Not in the same way I could put on... I might listen to it every now and then, you know, if I feel like it. But I wouldn't be playing it to my kids. At least not the way I'd play like Dark Side, I Wish You Were Here, or you know, fuck them up from an early age by playing Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be... Endless River might be, if I was trying to put them to sleep,
Yeah.
I'd put some nice ambient, you know, music on. But if I was to recommend tracks, you know, Side 3 is really good.
Why is it sides if it's
I don't know, because I think they're starting like a vinyl, aren't they?
It's fairly pretentious nowadays.
It's really pretentious.
Yeah, so what would you give it then out of like 10?
Jesus, that's hard. A 6 or a 7.
Would you recommend people purchasing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think people should always buy music.
No, I mean like someone who's into modern music, who's never heard Pink Floyd, would you recommend them purchasing it?
No.
Someone who loves Pink Floyd.
This is absolutely for the fans.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think if somebody wanted to get it who never listened to Pink Floyd, I'd say no.
No.
Go get Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, The Wall.
Yeah.
But if you're a bit more adventurous, get Animals. And then go out and check. You need to experience the whole history and sway of Pink Floyd, I think, to get the most out of this album.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very specific audience. Like I said, granddads, dads, and me.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have loads of Pink Floyd fans my age.
Yeah. Well, I like Pink Floyd, but not enough to buy the Endless River or to even listen to it.
Yeah. See, for me, Pink Floyd were like one of my first bands I ever got into.
Yeah.
I have a lot of affinity for Pink Floyd, so I was always going to buy this album and listen to it. And but no, it's definitely one for the fans. I've got mixed opinions on it. As an album, it doesn't really come together.
Worth 20 years in between this and Division Bell?
Not really.
No,
not really. But you know, like I said, I don't really know how much people could have expected from it.
No. What did you expect from it if you've bought the album and listened to it?
Let us know your opinions.
Yeah, let us know there's quite a lot of interesting questions to be run. Were you disappointed by it? What did you expect going into it?
Yeah, were you expecting a grand concept?
Well, obviously there's no lyrics, but did you feel like they thought about where it'd all go, or do you think...
So there's lyrics on the final song.
But I meant I was going to say, was there a concept? Obviously there's no lyrics. Do you think they thought about it in those terms, or do you think that was mainly Waters who wanted to do that and they'll...
Yeah. I think the concept of Endless River is Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I think. It's a bit like, you know, at one point, after The Who made Quadrophenia, Pete Townsend wanted to follow up by doing a concept album which was an autobiography of The Who.
Really?
That would have been really interesting.
It would have been.
He abandoned it, like Lifehouse, he abandoned it, but it's no Lifehouse.
No.
It's no, like, you know, cause that's quite a popular thing these days, like unreleased albums. Neil Young's got a whole treasure trove of them.
Neil Young's my Pink Floyd. I'd buy anything he'd do.
Yeah.
No matter
you've not bought Storytone.
Not yet.
And there's obviously what we were just talking about then.
I'm protesting his use of 2 songs to get double royalties.
Oh yeah.
with half the work.
So there's no Lifehouse. There's no I would actually like to hear a restored version of Lifehouse. I bet that'd be bizarre and interesting.
Well, I know some of the songs made it onto Who's Next.
I think all the songs have appeared on various albums. You know, but I think there's some Who Are You songs which and reviews from Lifehouse.
So, in summation, what do you think of the Endless River? Do you think that it was worth it?
Not worth all the hype.
No.
It is what it is. You know, a nice little present to Pink Floyd fans. Thank you for making us multi-billionaires.
Yeah.
Here's some more stuff to make us even more multi-billionaires.
Alright, finally, the last question I'll ask will be do you think this album is not ambitious enough do you think it'll let a lot of people down because of the hype, when it sounds to me, from your descriptions, as quite a quaint album?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to go in expecting another grand Pink Floyd album in the style of Dark Side and Wish You Were Here and The Wall and Animals. And people might even, obviously because we obsess over music and media and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some people might never realise Roger wasn't in the band anymore.
Yeah.
Some people are, just for some people they don't care about the history or like the band and what they're about, but it's just the music.
Yeah.
And what some people might hear is just a bunch of aimless instrumentals.
Yeah.
I think to get the most out of it, you've got to be a fan of the band and know them intimately.
So that was Endless River. What do you think? Leave any comments or anything on the Endless River.
It's nice dream for you to cover.